This is my first introduction to these tablets. This is the Amazon Fire Max 11. By the way, they're not called Kindles anymore, they're just called Fire tablets. Anyways, I started researching these things and I discovered these are actually pretty cheap tablets. And the newer ones have some really nice hardware. Like, look how they promote these things. And they're always running sales on these things too. $50 for one of the top of the line models. I mean, come on, you can't pass up on that. But after using these for a little while, I slowly started to uncover the major downsides on this thing. And I started to realize its actual purpose. Yeah, these tablets run Android, but these things are locked down hard. Straight up advertisements on your lock screen unless you pay extra. No Google Play Store, just their own lockdown Kindle store, which has nothing you'd actually want on there. And an interface that is absolutely bloated with Amazon stuff. I mean, this thing really just exists just to get you to use their Amazon services. And from what I've seen online, a lot of people tend to fall for this trap only because they're not tech savvy enough to understand what they're buying. They just see the cheap tablet and think, oh, that would be a pretty nice little YouTube machine for my kiddo, only to find out that YouTube isn't even supported on these things. But there is a way to fix all of these issues with these tablets and turn them to actual usable media machines, and even do some pretty decent gaming on them. Now, some people were able to catch what I was saying in the last Kindle video, and that's that if you already own one of these Fire tablets, these would be a great way to breathe new life into them and just strip them from as much bloat as possible. But if you're thinking of buying a brand new one of these and mod it to get what you want out of it, I'd say there are better options. Also, expect a lot of this to change over time. Amazon is known for finding out about a workaround and then making it a goal to rip it out of people's hands. That's why I don't recommend things like Fire Sticks anymore. Go get some that actually runs Android. So, how do we start? Well, I do want to mention that there are levels to modding these things. Some tablets can just do basic things like debloating, while some can go all the way to unlocking the bootloader and installing a completely different Android ROM on the tablet. But we'll get to all of that. For now, let's just start super easy, super simple, and this first method is actually the most compatible for most tablets. Yes, even the kids' ones. This is Fire Toolbox, and it's an app that's designed to completely clean up your Fire tablet. And it's like incredibly easy to use. This is the Amazon Fire Max 11. This is the newest one that they sell at the moment. And Fire Toolbox is gonna fix every problem this thing has out of the box and in like 2 clicks. Let me show you. First off, we gotta enable the developer mode so we can actually send things over to our tablets. We just go into the device info and tap the serial number just a bunch of times. You should see a little pop-up, and now you should see a new menu in your settings. Awesome. Now we just enable USB debugging so we can talk to our tablet, plug it into our computer, and now we're ready. Now, to be honest, Fire Toolbox is amazing, particularly because it has one-click buttons for basically everything. First off, it completely removes all of the pre-installed Amazon apps and freezes any Amazon services that are running in the background. This is great so you don't have to have 10 different apps from Amazon on your home screen that you were probably never gonna use. It can also remove the special offer ads that pop up on your lock screen that Amazon usually charges $20 to get rid of. That's crazy. I've heard some people mention that this resets for them, but I've had this tablet for like 4 weeks and it hasn't come back once. So even if I had to reset it once a month, I feel like that's worth it to me. This also means you can replace the lock screen wallpaper too, which you can't do out of the box unless you pay. That's insane. Oh, and you know that god-awful Amazon App Store that comes installed? Dude, I heard it was bad, but I didn't know it was this bad. It doesn't even have YouTube. There's no Google Chrome, no Gmail. All I kept finding were these really strange knockoff apps that all they do is just open a mobile website version of the app, but with ads. Man, the Amazon App Store is a mess. Well, that's not a problem anymore because Fire Toolbox can not only install the Google Play Store so you can access the real Android App Store and grab the apps that you'd actually want, you can also install other Google services like Google Calendar and Contact Sync, Google Assistant, Gmail, and a bunch of other stuff. Oh, and here's my favorite part. Fire Toolbox can also do custom launchers, which is the home screen that your Fire tablet opens up when you unlock it. Because honestly, the stock Fire OS launcher kind of leaves a lot to be desired. Nova Launcher is obviously great if you want something that looks good out of the box, and it completely changes the feel of your Fire tablet. It's nice not being advertised something Amazon related every 3 seconds. But if you want something a bit more stock feeling, you can try Launcher, which is designed to replicate the feel of the launcher on Google Pixels. I know some people that would very much prefer this one. Okay, now you're probably thinking, this all sounds great. No compromises, let's do it. Hold on. There are some drawbacks to doing this, especially on newer tablets. See, Fire tablets are split up into 2 different categories, restricted tablets and unrestricted tablets. Here's a pretty up-to-date list, but basically it depends on both the model tablet that you have and the software version that it's running. This Fire Max and most newer tablets, sadly, will be restricted tablets, which means some things work, but with workarounds. For example, the custom launcher thing, On tablets like these, they work, but they do it in a really wonky way. FireOS doesn't actually let us change the default launcher, so the way that FireTools makes it work is by creating a shortcut to open an app, and places that shortcut right where your home button would usually be. And the app that it opens is your launcher. So sometimes if you tap it fast enough, you can kind of see the old FireOS launcher peep through. But functionality-wise, it doesn't change the way you use your tablet, so it's fine. And another drawback is that a software update from Amazon can pretty much reset your entire setup, and you'll have to hook it up to FireTools again to get it back to where it was. And funny thing is, there is no way to disable auto updates on Fire tablets. Isn't that weird? Now, Fire Toolbox does have a way to block software updates, but on restricted tablets, it does it with something called metered networks. Basically, it grabs a list of all the Wi-Fi networks on your tablet that it's been connected to in the past and sets all of them up with a custom profile that automatically blocks any Amazon domain so it can't possibly update. There is a few downsides to this method though. If you happen to connect to a new Wi-Fi network that you've never connected to in the past, you do run the risk of auto-updating your tablet by accident. And using a metered network doesn't allow you to download stuff in the background. Your device has to be on and open if you're downloading something. But the good news is, unless you connect to new networks regularly, you only have to do this once and you never have to worry about accidentally updating again. But as you can tell, it's not exactly ideal. But even with these downsides, I still feel like the benefits are well worth the trade-offs. And it turns these tablets into what I feel are actually pretty capable devices. But what do you think? Do you think it's still worth it? Now, unrestricted tablets like this 2020 Fire tablet, they have none of these issues. So you can get all the benefits of Toolbox, and there's no wonky workaround for changing things like your home launcher. It's all native. Blocking software updates is also really simple too. There's no need for metered networks or anything like that. You just toggle it in Fire Toolbox once and you're done forever. But now you're dealing with another issue, which is most of these unrestricted tablets are starting to get pretty old. I mean, these weren't powerful tablets to begin with, and now on top of running 5-year-old hardware, you're also going to be dealing with limited software support, since most of these run like Android 9, and limited storage too, since these also ship with like 32 gigs of storage. But there probably is other ways to repurpose these things, maybe make it like a stationary display or something. I don't know, you guys are probably more creative than I am. Either way, this is still a great way to debloat your Fire tablet, and I feel like 90% of you guys could probably stop here and be happy. But this isn't exactly a jailbreak per se, it's only running basic ADB commands. So how far can we really go with these tablets? If you want to get really fancy, you can mod some Fire tablets to completely wipe the original Amazon operating system and replace it with Lineage OS, which is a really clean stock version of Android. So now it literally is just a regular old generic Android tablet. But it's not exactly ideal for a lot of people, honestly, and I'll explain why in a bit. All it requires is a paperclip and Linux. Now, I know you're probably gonna be like, oh man, Linux, I have a girlfriend, I don't know anything about Linux, but the process is pretty straightforward. And odds are, if you already have a Steam Deck, you're probably already at least a little familiar with Linux. Now, there's an awesome video that explains a lot of this. I'll link it below, but basically, the first thing you gotta do is wipe the tablet entirely. Then you gotta carefully take off the back of the Fire tablet so we can get a shot at the motherboard. Then you use a paperclip to short 2 points on the motherboard inside the Kindle. Now, there's no footage of me successfully doing this because I tried this and immediately bricked the tablet.
Ooh, we just smoked. Oh my goodness.
This is the first time I've ever actually bricked a device, so glad I caught that on camera. But once you short it correctly, the program sends over the Lineage OS installer and turns it into a straight up generic Android tablet. So now there's no trace of Amazon on the tablet. But there's a big downside to this method though. The newest tablet you can do this mod on is from 2017, which means best case scenario, you're modding an underpowered Android tablet, taking it apart, bridging contact points, and even if you do everything right, you're still stuck with an 8-year-old tablet that could barely run its own stock operating system. Yeah, it's not really worth it anymore. And from what I researched, it seems like development on trying to get this run on newer tablets has fizzled out due to just plain old lack of interest. Okay, by the way, side tangent, my last Kindle video had a lot of people telling me like, get off my lazy ass and go work on the next jailbreak for the Kindle already. And I'm messed up because I haven't updated the new jailbreak to work with the new software. And I'm like, you know, I don't make the jailbreaks, right? I find all the digging research and put all the info together into a really nice video, so you don't have to do it yourself. You're yelling at the wrong guy here. Anyway, so where were we? Okay, yeah. But don't worry, because I still found some really cool ways to repurpose these tablets that I think you'll find really, really interesting. So what else can we do with these really low-powered, stripped-down devices? Turns out, actually quite a bit. Let's start on the high end and then work our way down to what you can do with the lower-end stuff. So the newest models have pretty decent hardware, and once you remove the bloat, they're pretty capable machines. Gaming itself on these things actually isn't too bad either. I was able to run both Call of Duty Mobile and Genshin on here, and they both ran really, really smoothly. Now that to me is like the threshold if a tablet is good enough, so if it can clear this, I think it's gonna be okay. Emulation is also really solid on newer tablets. Of course, Game Boy Advance, PS1, SNES was running just fine on these things. I was able to get Emulation Station running on this one and make a really nice interface to store all of my games, and I managed to get this to run all the way up to PS2 games. Native res on PS2 though, remember, don't get your hopes up too much. Game streaming, funny enough, wasn't that great of an experience, to be honest. Maybe the Wi-Fi chips on these suck or something, because no matter what, I couldn't get a playable stream running with these things, even though my network is plenty capable. But for about $100, that's still not bad. So what about the low-end Fire tablets? Well, 30 to 60 bucks gets you like an older tablet, like the 2020 models. I wouldn't go out of my way to buy one of these, but if you already have one lying around, they could still be really valuable, because I found a super cool way to repurpose these. Now, something I really wanted to try, I've seen a lot of people use these for dashboards for their smart homes. So you can use an app like Home Assistant to have a tablet that controls all of your lights, your cameras, show off your weather, whatever you want, and turn it into a permanent cheap dashboard remote. It's really nice. I saw some people doing this with Pixel tablets and I thought it looked cool, but bro, I didn't know these things were like 350 bucks. Nah, you don't need all that. You can do the same thing with an old Kindle. Oh yeah, and this isn't just for Amazon Alexa stuff either, no. I have IKEA lights, Apple HomeKit lights, projectors, even some of the power strips, all being controlled through one tablet. Now that we have access to the Play Store, that means we can technically download the Home Assistant app, but the navigation bar is still at the bottom, and I really didn't like that. So I downloaded an app called Fully Kiosk Browser, which can full screen any website that you want, so it looks like a fully complete setup. Yeah, that looks much better. Now we can have a super cheap remote control that controls lights, AC, whatever is connected to our HomeKit, we can access it here. Now even older tablets, like from 2017, they still work, but barely. My God. So if it's already running at 2 FPS, we might as well embrace it. So I have it docked here, running as a digital picture frame. I got some white people on here. I don't know who they are, but just pretend they're your parents or something. I don't know. Oh, okay. And this is my favorite one, to be honest. So there's an app called DeskThing that I mentioned in the past that's meant to be a companion screen for your Mac or your Windows machine. It's a really great app that has had a lot of changes since I last saw it. But the cool thing is, even though this was originally designed for the Spotify car thing, it can technically run on any device as long as it has a web browser. So that means we can turn this crappy Android tablet that's been sitting in a drawer and convert it into an awesome secondary display that looks so pretty on a desk. Although having it propped up on my pencil mug felt weird, so I made a 3D model that would be perfect for this setup. I was thinking about how the Google Pixel tablet had a dock accessory that it rests on, and I thought, I think I can make something like that. So this is the 3D prototype that I ended up printing. I designed it with a hole in the middle so that way you can grab one of these like MagSafe things that you can get anywhere off of Amazon. They're just magnets for like your phone and stuff. And you can put it in here without any glue or anything like that. So you can just kind of, yeah, you can just put this in here now. So it's kind of neat. And it fits like really, really snug, as you can tell. But you can use glue if you want to keep it down a little bit more, but I haven't had any issues. It's really, really in there. I also left a hole in the bottom here so that way in case you want to take out this magnet for whatever reason, you can kind of just push it out. And there you go, it's out again. And these MagSafe things that you get off of Amazon and stuff like that, they usually come with like rings that you can put on whatever devices that you want, like phones that don't have MagSafe. So I took the Kindle and I just stuck it in the back there. So now it could just stick on properly and everything works. Check that out. I also put a hole on the side here so that way whenever you want to charge your device or whatever, you can just have that routed through the back so you don't have to see the ugly cable. And you can still charge it while you're using it. It's kind of neat. Now here's the thing, I did have a prototype where I wanted to get like this wireless MagSafe charger in here instead as like a charging plug so you could just charge it wirelessly and then just have one of those like USB-C like to wireless charging things on the back of the device. The problem is that there's like no magnets adapter things that actually are like this long enough so that way you can actually hit the middle of this thing. There's just no chargers that actually have a charger long enough to reach the middle point here. So if I wanted to do it correctly, that means that the charger would have to basically be on like on this side aligned, and that means it would have to be like wonky to the right here, and it would look weird, and I didn't want to do that. So, you know, if there's any way around that, I mean, let me know. If you found anyone that has like a really long charging cable for the wireless magnet charger thing, let me know. But yeah, that was an issue for me. So I think the prototype looks pretty good. I was really happy with it. So I sent it off to PCBWay, which is also the sponsor for this video. Wait, no, they're actually really cool. Hold on. PCBWay can take whatever designs that you've made and make them out of all types of different materials, from subtle stuff like this really nice 3D printed marble material to more dense materials like resin. Resin is really heavy, so I used it to make the base of the dock to weigh it down. And they even do super crazy stuff like electroplated gradients, like this blue version that I got.
Oh, damn, Jesus. Oh my God.
But they also have a lot of other materials and finishes too, from aluminum, copper, nylon, acrylic, powder coating, sanding, spray painting, and a lot more. You even get a specific agent assigned to you whose whole job is to look over your design and help you fix any issues and make sure that your model prints properly so you're not wasting your money on prototypes. It's a really great service. If you've ever had a design that you're proud of and always wanted to make it in a really professional looking quality, PCBWay is the best place to go, honestly. And if you use my code dammit10, you get $10 off your first order. Try it out. Let me know what you think. And big thanks to them for supporting the channel so we can keep making cool videos like this. So let me tell you a little bit more about DeskThing. It's a desk companion whose main functionality was originally meant to be used as a wireless music controller for your computer, whether that be a local audio player, Spotify, and even Apple Music. But the community has been working really hard to add even more features, and it can do a lot more stuff now. If you want this model too, I'm going to be uploading it to my Patreon for download. Don't worry, I'm posting it there for free. You don't have to be a paid member to download it. Though, if you do appreciate what I do, consider maybe becoming a paid member. It means a lot. Thanks. Love you. Now, DeskThing has some pretty great app support that means anyone can go make an app for it, and there's a lot of great projects that people have been making. Like LurThing, that shows a really pretty showcase of the lyrics of the song that you're listening to, or show off a really nice looking clock that can still control your music. I personally really like this one. Or show off a more minimalist look with the Vinyl Player app. You can turn your display into a really nice resource usage monitor for your computer. And of course, my own little personal app that I program called Weather Waves that can show off your weather and music really nicely on your desk that, again, the community found ways to make even better. Oh, and this just looks absolutely insane if you have a newer tablet. I mean, this is just so over the top, but it looks so cool. Okay, I'm sure you're thinking the same thing that I was. Can you use these as a second monitor? And the answer is yes. Now that we have the Play Store available to us, we can use Space Desk to turn our old crappy Kindle into an awesome secondary monitor. You can do it wirelessly, but I found USB gave the best connection, to be honest. Oh, and set the default frame rate to 60. For some reason, it's set to 15 by default. So now we have a pretty sweet second monitor that can be used for Discord, or use Wallpaper Engine and make a really pretty setup for your desk. Or honestly, do whatever you want. I mean, it's literally just recognized as another monitor, so you can just get really creative with this.
Yeah, this is terrible. Don't do this.
And if you have it hooked up through USB, you never have to worry about charging it or anything. It just auto boots up as soon as you turn on your computer.
Okay, real quick, because I did end up finding something for macOS users. I found an app called Mercast. It seems to work pretty well for this. All you have to do really is open up the app, click on this thing, and then you should see the display AirPlay thing right there. All right, there you go. It's going to ask if you want to extend the display or do the entire screen. I'm just going to extend the display. And there you go. You got your macOS right here, just chilling, hanging out. Hello, hi. You got macOS going on. Very cool. The only thing is that it caps you to 720p, and there's no way to outright buy the product. They're only doing subscriptions, which is really annoying. If someone finds like an alternative that would be better for this, let me know in the comments, but this is about as good as we can get for Mac.
And because I know a lot of people were thinking it, yes, you can turn your Fire tablet into a Stream Deck. Let me show you how. So there's an app called Macro Deck that is literally just the Stream Deck program, but open source, and can run on anything for free. And it has support for a lot of different plugins too. So you can have it just open up your favorite apps, or maybe have tools set up for your creative apps like Photoshop or DaVinci, or just have it as an easy Discord dashboard to control your volume and mute buttons. I mean, really whatever you want. I mean, you know what a Stream Deck is. I don't have to explain this to you. And the best part is you can connect multiple tablets too. Okay, are you starting to see the possibilities now? Like there is so much customization that's possible here. I really think you'll find something unique for your setup that you're really gonna like. Now, I'm sure you're wondering, where do we go from here? What's next for the future of unlocking these Fire tablets? And this is kind of where the good news ends. The future for modding these tablets doesn't look very great right now. See, a lot of these Kindles still have their bootloader locked, since in 2019, the biggest exploit was finally patched on these Kindles, completely locking people out of the pathway that let people run things like custom Android builds and a bunch of other stuff. No one's been able to find a workaround, and we probably won't see one anytime soon. But what about stuff like Fire Toolbox? Why do hacks like that work on the Kindles? Well, Fire Toolbox is a combination of a bunch of different hacks, from tiny things like ADB commands, all the way up to system level exploits. Some stuff has been patched over time, which is why I don't see it running on newer tablets, while some stuff Amazon could patch tomorrow, and it just hasn't for whatever reason. And don't get me wrong, it's great stuff, but it's nowhere near a proper full jailbreak. And well, there's another part of this problem that we're not addressing, and it's just general lack of interest. There's not a lot of people buying these to do super intensive tasks. And if you're gonna be putting all of this work into exploiting and modding a tablet to be able to do basic functions of a normal tablet, you're probably just buying a normal tablet. But the good news is there's still a lot that you can do with tools like Fire Toolbox. Custom launchers, turn into a second monitor, emulators, turn it into a gaming machine, a desk companion. I mean, there's a lot of possibilities for these things. And hopefully there was something here that made you finally go, oh dude, I need to try that. There's still a lot of life in these low-end tablets. Now, I'm never gonna go tell someone, go buy your Fire tablet right now, it's awesome, go jailbreak it and all that. I just wanted to wait for people who already own these devices to get a little bit more out of them, even if it helps at least like 5 tablets avoid being thrown away or locked away to a drawer again. I'll be happy. I'm really trying to detach from this cycle of Amazon overconsumption where I can. Hell, even I know that I'm guilty of buying stuff on Amazon that I don't need just because I see the Prime same-day shipping label on the product. A lot of these people buy these tablets for cheap, realize that they're kind of crap, and then eventually end up leaving it in a drawer or throwing it away or something. I really hope you found something here to give you an idea of what's possible if you still own one of these, and hopefully do something really, really cool with them instead of just throwing it out. Now, the cool thing is that the Kindle e-reader scene is actually a lot more active since a brand new jailbreak just came out for it that adds even more support for people who couldn't jailbreak since they were on newer firmwares. And odds are you could probably go jailbreak your Kindle right now. Seriously, you gotta jailbreak your Kindle if you haven't already. I have a whole video on the whole world of jailbreaking Kindles and what you can do with it. Click over here to watch it before it gets patched again. And thank you for watching.